Hi, this is Brian Pasch, and I have a challenge for general managers and owners of dealer groups. When you hear that customers want a more transparent, faster, and easier way to buy a new car, some of you are saying that would be nice, but it doesn't fit into our sales process. What if you could deliver a transparent, faster, and easier way that was more profitable and sustainable? If you don't believe me, tune into my story about the future of automotive retail powered by the technology of Fuse-Autotech. Any decision that impacts the sales process needs the buy-in of the general manager, so it's really important as we discuss modern retailing, the perspective of a general manager in terms of training, retention, profitability, and the customer experience. So in order to do that, I brought in a GM. In this video series, Brycen, tell us a little about the store that you run.
So I run Walser Subaru St. Paul. We were a new point, opened in November of 2019, retailing right between 180 and 220 cars a month.
Right. And how many sales associates are on the floor?
For the majority of last year, we ran with 12 sales associates. We've increased at the beginning of this year to 14 on a growth path.
Great. So let's talk about Fuse. A decision to have one screen that covers everything in between the CRM and the DMS. When you're looking for new sales associates to sell, to reach your sales goals, how has Fuse enabled you to open up that hiring process to a wider range? And are you looking for automotive veterans or just people who have desire to please customers?
I hire for the human being first. So the customer service side of things first, and predominantly look for people that have never sold cars before. The reason that I'm able to do that is that I have a system that allows the simplicity in process and ease in execution for those people and allows them to just focus on customers and really just be trying to put themselves in themselves and their guests in the best position to get in and out as quickly and effortlessly as possible.
Okay, someone comes to your store. Let's just say you're out of the mall one day, you have an amazing retail experience, and you say, I want you to work at my store. They're like, I don't know how to sell a car. I don't have any experience. No problem. Come on in. So how long does it take for them in your process at your store to get to a point where they're able to work independently with a customer?
Fully independently is probably 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they can't be successful, accomplish their own personal goals, and be a part of our store goals in that period of time. It's just that our leadership structure is built around servant leadership. So there's kind of that 80-20 execution from myself and our sales managers at helping and shepherding along the newer sales associates, and then having those moments of impact with the people that are more singularly focused or able to be executing on their own.
Great. I love the phrase servant leadership. I'm a big believer in that mode. Everyone working on the same team, leveraging skills, talents, experience to deliver that outstanding customer experience. How do you describe to people outside of your organization who's, doing retail sales in a traditional manner, how do you explain how Fuse technology is really allowing you to deliver that experience of delight wow, I've never had this type of car buying experience. How do you explain to someone out in the automotive what Fuse is doing for you?
Fuse allows for, it sounds strange to say, but Fuse allows for the simplicity that we've found in other retailing environments with other retailers that are excellent. So you find, and I go back to places, you start talking about retailers like Amazon, retailers like, some other verticals where they have intentionally used technology to simplify the process, simplify things for the customer, and put the customer in the best possible frame by leveraging technology and allowing things to just move as quickly as humanly possible. Fuse allows us to do that. And it sounds strange to say, or it sounds strange to pin a ribbon on the technology and saying, hey, we're catching up to retail as a whole, but at least we're catching up to the best possible examples of retail that exist outside of the car industry.
Great. I know I'm a Marriott loyalist, and even though I'm not a big fan of the electronic key card, I know a lot of people who are, and they love the idea if they come in late, and there's a line of 4 people, they're like, I just want to get to my room. I love the fact that right on the app, when you check in, you can adjust your check-in time. You can get the electronic key card using your mobile phone. Really makes it faster and easier and more convenient. When you think of the customers that you're dealing with who are going through your process for the first time, you're getting them in and out in how much time? What would you say the average, maybe with an appointment or without an appointment? What's that range look like?
30 to 90 minutes. I mean, if we're set up and we understand we have a new car order and new car deposit where the vehicles arrive, we're able to gather all the information ahead of time. Within reason, we can get someone in and out within half an hour.
Great.
From yes to kind of wheels up, we can be in that 30 to 60 minutes. And then there are customers where their preference is that we go a little bit more in depth, spend some more time, go through things in detail, and we're able to do that as well. We need to meet the customer where they would like, at the speed that they would like to transact, rather than the speed that we want them to transact within our process. And Fuse allows us to do that.
So let's talk about how you measure up then against your peers. CSI scores, customer satisfaction is important to Subaru. How would you compare your customer satisfaction scores on Fuse compared to other retailers that are doing a traditional process?
Typically on the sales side, which is obviously what we're talking about, we have had several months with 25 plus survey returns, all at perfect surveys. Typically we're in the 90th percentile plus when it comes to our zone and region as far as measuring out against our competition. A lot of that has to do with my people, but the technology underpins what those people are able to execute.
Right. Compliance is a growing concern with dealers. As a general manager, the buck stops with you.
Every single buck stops with me.
Yeah. And so when we think of upcoming legislation with the CARS ruling or, well, any future ruling, it would seem that making sure that all the boxes are checked, all the documentation is in place so that if an ambulance chaser lawyer comes after your store, you could say, hey, I got the whole logbook. How does Fuse allow you to sleep a little bit better in regard to compliance that maybe dealers who are using 4 or 5 different systems or still more paper than electronic signatures? How is that, giving you some peace that you're ready for future compliance requirements?
So I think there's 2 big parts of it. I think you hit on a key point there is that we're not using 4 or 5 different systems to manage compliance. We're using one system to manage compliance. Simplicity is almost always king, especially when it comes to process management. So having my team not needing to be bouncing back and forth between 2 or 3 different systems to make sure that they've checked box A, B, C, and D, and being able to check all of those boxes within one system is key. And then we have a great partner in the team at Fuse, their customer success team, to know that whatever comes up in the future, whatever legislation is coming around the bend that we know of, don't know of, may happen, that they're going to be there to have quick and effective solutions for us to continue to have only one point that we have to be managing.
One of the challenges in modern retailing is presenting the right lender with the right payment for each customer, right? Depending on their ideal situation. And sometimes it's very difficult when dealers are running multiple lending portals, trying to understand what's best in real time. And oftentimes, even though the dealer may want to do what's best for the customer, they might miss something. They may not see that a particular lender's maybe working harder to win some business. Yeah. How is having all of the lenders that you want to present to a customer in Fuse, and how is Fuse helping you make sure that you're never disappointing a customer by getting them the best partner for their financing needs?
It's a great question. I think that transparency is that piece that Fuse allows us to have with customers, and showing them all of the options. We know that we're not pigeonholing a customer into something because it's what's right for us. We're managing backwards from what's right for the customer, and knowing that the P&L is going to fall in line after that. And so having the ability to check ourselves and our own biases that we come into preparing for a month and saying, okay, here's the lease special that we're going to be advertising, or here's what we think we should be putting in front of customers from a marketing standpoint or in our showroom. We can manage backwards from having all of the data and having all of the options, and not just believing that typing in, 3 or 4 different money factors for 2 or 3 different terms and believing, okay, this is what we need to go to market with. It streamlines things backwards from us. But then in the scenario where we truly need to have that full spectrum for a customer that may have not bought a car in 10, 12 years, has no idea whether they want to lease or finance, we can present every option under the sun and help them find what fits best for them.
I'm kind of fascinated on your approach with 12 to 14 sales associates. It gives you time to really observe what people are doing, coach them, as compared to a general manager sitting on 50 or 60 sales associates. So when you're watching Fuse in action in the showroom with your sales associates, are you seeing your sales associates driving more of the process? Do you see it's interactive? What's the reality? Because, you hear some people say, hey, customers want to drive. And then I know a lot of people who just want to feel included. And I could see there's other times where the person says, look, I trust you, you do best, walk me through each step, but the sales associate's driving. What's your experience? What are you seeing? Because there are other general managers here in this room virtually listening to us saying, man, I got a wide range of skills. I got a wide range of personalities. How's this going to work for me?
I think the biggest thing is for the customer to feel included, and for the customer to be able to and have the power to dictate what makes the most sense for them. You could have someone that very much wants to watch and has that power. You could have someone that very much wants to drive and has that power. Having a system that has the simplicity for someone to sort of pick it up out of the box and walk in through the front door as a customer and say, okay, I know if I click this, I believe logically it's going to end up doing this, and the system functions that way. But I would say the majority of customers want to have that casual correspondence as they're going through. And with how we have our show floor set up, obviously with one large monitor and a shared workspace between the customer and our customer specialist or salesperson, it's just seeing people being included as opposed to seeing a salesperson interacting behind a screen and then passing,
not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, and passing along information to the customer, and the customer has to hope that what they're saying is accurate, versus being able to have that single source of truth for everyone and being able to share that throughout the process.
Love it. I would imagine that customers who come in for the first time and buy a Subaru at your store are blown away with how easy it is. Is it that important that you get referrals specifically coming in about the speed? Is it the speed? Is it the experience? I mean, for me, my time's valuable. I'd want to be the person in and out in 30 minutes. That's me. And I would tell other people just that, because whether I'm paying $250 a month or $260 a month I'm not even worried about that number. I'm worried about my time. Are people really focused on and appreciating the time element of this whole process?
I don't think they're blown away yet. And I realize that's a strange thing to say, because what we're talking about are numbers that, given what exists in the industry, are fairly impressive. I think that there are still efficiencies that we can find with the humans that we have. to take better advantage of the technology that we have to better wow customers. But people are trained to have such high expectations that doing what we're doing is going to become table stakes sooner rather than later.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And that's an important wake-up call for dealers who are watching. As retail has evolved, and I love what you said. Hey, Brian, I think people are expecting in and out in 30 minutes. Now, we're giving it. So in a sense, maybe they're not raving because they might think everyone's supposed to do it in 30 minutes. I think that's a very interesting perspective.
Exactly. And I love to be meeting expectations. I think that that's extremely important. When we start to be able to blow people away with the speed, such as we heard Alex talk about that he's achieving at our Mazda store, that is where we're going to have customers that become complete ambassadors for the brand. And right now what we're doing is we're meeting expectations. We're going to retain customers based on meeting expectations because we're not letting them down. But we will very quickly have the ability to build people that are blown away by the process that we have. And some of that is just having the ability to operationalize what the technology allows us to do.
Right. And we've been talking about the Fuse remote capabilities, being able to send out the credit app for remote completion, electronic document signatures. Is this an area of improvement, getting more of that paperwork done before they even come in? So as Alex mentioned, 10 minutes. I almost fell off the chair myself.
Yeah.
I was like, 10 minutes. I would have loved the 10-minute because I'm a decision maker.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who's like, yeah, that car, great. Pull it up. What do I have to do? He's like, 10 minutes. And I'm like, I want to be a customer of Alex.
Exactly.
I think is that kind of the vision, like how you want to grow your team, leverage all those tools to give the customers many options as they can to, tailor the journey the way they want it?
Yeah, a lot of it is giving ourselves permission to be educating customers on ways they can save time before their visit. We get stuck in this thought of, they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to think about no, they want to fit into this box. A lot of customers haven't bought, as I referenced earlier, a lot of customers haven't bought a car in 5 years, haven't bought a car in 7 years, haven't bought a car in 10 years. You think about how much retail, specifically automotive retail, has changed in that time period. And there are things that we can accomplish today that we couldn't accomplish 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago. So educating customers on what we can do up front to save them time when they're in the store. I always say that I build my team to have the best and most customer-friendly team that I have, but we're not that cool. We're not worth spending 3 or 4 hours with.
Right.
And I'll never build a team that's that cool. So we need to be educating our teams as leaders within the store to leverage all of the chances that we have to save a minute here, a minute there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and be giving customers their lives back so they can go enjoy the car that they're purchasing from us rather than be spending time at the dealer.
We've talked a lot about customer experience and speed and efficiency, but let's talk about your job. You only keep your job if you run a profitable store. You only keep your job if you are maximizing the investment that the owners have made in that building and the floor planning. How is Fuse allowing you to exceed the store profitability goals and the sales objectives that are presented to you that maybe in a manual system or a multi-system environment would never be possible?
It allows me to know that every customer is getting presented every product every single time. And that I have a presentation tool that allows for customers to understand, interact, and be brought into the decision-making rather than be sold. They want to be able to find the value for themselves with their sales associate and make that decision for themselves rather than feel like they're being sold a product. So we are seeing our finance profitability climb from a per vehicle basis and overall basis month after month after month as we're getting better and better equipped to meet customers with the tool. And I expect that to continue.
Great. Well, you heard it from a store manager who has transformed his retail experience to make sure every customer is treated the same way, that every product is presented every time, and that the customer is brought along, included in the conversation. This is the future of modern retailing. And as we explore other elements of the Fuse platform and the other benefits, I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion that I have, is that every store needs to consider what the future could look like with the proper technology, training, and vision for modern retailing. And that is possible with Fuse-Autotech today. We've talked about how long it takes in your store to get someone independent. They come out of the gate productive. They're coached, they're mentored in that servant leadership mindset. But at your store, you're also doing something very interesting. It is the structure of their work week. And what I think I'd like you to share with your peers is that your sales associates are pushing past national averages with a 4-day work week. Help me understand that model.
Yeah, I believe that it's been a major key to unlocking some additional efficiencies that we have within folks. And that sounds strange to say, because how do I work less days per week, sell more, and be happier? I think that one of the things that we would find is in our traditional model, we had that swing shift in the middle. So I'm going to work 8 to 5. People plan their lives around that schedule.
Right.
There's a big difference between going out and knowing that you're going to run a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles. If all of a sudden you find yourself running indefinitely, that's where things can get a little squirrely. Right. And so if someone takes a customer at 4 o'clock and in their head, they've been thinking, okay, I've got a dinner reservation at 6. Oh, I really need to get home, or I've got to pick up the kids, or I've got to do this or that. That's a very different thing from knowing, okay, I'm on the clock from 9:30 until 8 p.m. and never having to make that choice, that thought, and managing backwards from what's right for the customer, which is they don't want to be caught in the middle of what someone's schedule is. They just want to come in when they want to and transact when they want to and transact as quickly as they want to. And so the give and take for a longer individual workday is you get 52 extra days off per year. And what we're finding is that having those extra 52 days off means that if someone does need to come in and handle an appointment for that 30 to 90 minutes that it takes to complete that transaction, that they're more than willing to come in. And that's led to increased efficiencies. That's led to happier salespeople. And that's led to people that value their place within the company and within our individual dealership ecosystem even more.
So core to your success, I'm seeing, is a focus on customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. You've built a model with the Fuse technology to achieve both.
Correct.
And that's really something that I hope dealers pick up, is that that's sustainable. It's a fortress against the headwinds that can come in automotive retail. It increases employee retention, customer retention. And if you're maximizing the energy people have with a platform that makes sure everyone is presented the same products 100% of the time, you're maximizing profitability. And that is a great story in today's headwinds in the economy and the challenges in modern retail.